Hey guys, Jock from the future here. I just wanted to let you guys know that every alpha and every stamp, every tiling texture that you see in the tutorial, they are available in my Gumroad, link down in the description. So if you want to, try these out, make some yourself, make your own projects, your own kind of like sci-fi, fashion, cyberpunk material, clothing, tattoos, robots, really whatever it is that you can think of. Um, go get them, and I hope you have some fun, and I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Make sure to leave me some feedback. Let me know if there's anything you guys would like to see. If there's anything you guys want questions on, and especially if you end up making things using what you learned in this tutorial, do send it to me. Like, let me see. Send me a link to your project. Message me. You know, I really want to see what you guys make. So, take care, guys. Enjoy the tutorial. Hey guys, so what I'll be showing you today is the process and sort of the reasoning behind making an emissive material like this, more specifically these kind of emissive moving patches on the jacket. So I refer to them as patches because it's on a jacket. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the first one, the second one was tattoos, and the first one was like a living biomechanical components for a mech. So this has a lot of applications. And exactly, what you use it for and how you use it, that is sort of up to you. That's actually one of the things I'm most excited about sharing this, which is why I'm sharing this on YouTube. I want to see you guys make stuff with this, man. Like, I just want to see some stuff. I want to see some, like, so, oopsie. So you see, like, this sort of, like, Devil May Cry meets Cyberpunk 2077 style jacket here. I had concepts for a Cyberpunk Yakuza. Like I want to see what you guys make from this. So if you make anything that you would like to share, like seriously, like message me, link me, comment with your link, and just like show it. I want to see what you guys make from this. I really want to see people use this. But anyway, so on to the tutorial. So let's look at the actual material, how it breaks down. So if you sort of look at it, don't mind this for now. So if you sort of look at it, it looks a little convoluted, especially when you get down to here. But there's a reason for that. One of the reasons is that you are seeing it in the concept and editing phase. So in this phase, every single patch that has an emissive or a color or anything I really want to just add on to the jacket is it has its own mask, it has its own texture. Some of them, so for example, a jacket logo has its own moving emissive pattern. The right arm has its own moving emissive pattern. And, some of these right now, for like this version, like to get the jacket to look like this, they're redundant. So for example, the I don't know what you would call it, but it's like oopsie, like this area, I guess, like the flanks of the jacket and the jackal logo are running on essentially the same emissives, and that's not particularly necessary right now. Actually, this particular version, let's delete this for now. Let's delete this one for now. And let's just bypass this and put this here. And we also don't need this. Actually, you know, let's just delete the whole thing. Okay, there we go. So the reason why I've deleted it and I'm saving it out is because I actually want to show you guys sort of one of the edits that you can make for this. So now you see the emissive going down. It's gone. That's what I removed. And, you know, everything still works fine. I literally just went in and just hacked it away, right? I just chopped it off and it works fine. And that's kind of the strength of this method. It's that because everything is its own little component, as long as you kind of, you know, keep them organized in some way, you know, this clutter area is not really that much of a problem. You don't really deal with it. But it lets you just apply all sorts of fun little iterations. So let's say I wanted to change up the emissive in a, oopsie, wait. Let's say I wanted to change up the emissive that runs behind the jacket, right? So let's do that. So right now, you know, it's a totally different thing. Actually, it's very similar. It's just kind of a change in color. So what happens is that this bar, so in the original, this bar was going up and down the texture map. And now these bars are going up and down the texture map, but because they're being run through first this mask, this pattern mask, which is, let me get you a larger picture, which is this one. So this is being run through just like a tiled version of this, which I think it's tiled like what? Yeah, 5x5. You know, so it's running through, sorry, not this one, this one, it's being ran through that, and then it goes through Jackal logo and through, let's call them the flanks. Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of how it works, depending on what you put in here. So let's try something else. Let's try something that will like be visually very, very different. So let me pull. There's actually one texture I've been wanting to use for this. Oh, there we go. So I just kind of downloaded this. Oh, where is it? Huh? Oh. So I just kind of downloaded this this binary code pattern here. Okay. So let's see. First, I want to see it go through that pattern. See what that looks like. Oh, wow, that's it's going really fast. So let's change the speed of the pattern to wow, 0.1, 0.05 maybe. It was going really fast. It was going like way too fast for my taste. Okay. My computer's been a bit slow lately. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Forgot to, probably should have just applied, but. This isn't bad. This is pretty okay. It's kind of meh, but it's pretty okay. I do not like the way it's, I don't like the way it's going on the back at all. So, let's do this. Let's see. So, we know that we have this mask, right? And we have this mask. So, I wanted to keep going through this mask, but no longer go through this mask. I actually want the jackal symbol to have the old one that it had. All right. So let's do this. So first of all, I'm gonna break the links on here and just kind of put this off to the side. I'm also going to break the links here, actually. Put this off to the side temporarily. Let's kind of clean up our workspace a little bit. Let's take this and let's duplicate. There we go. Let's put it down here. Let's replace. See. No. You know what? I have two of you. I can delete you. Goodbye. And the panner was on 0.3 before. Okay. So now I have the old emissive pattern in the background back. Now what I need to do is I need to find where the Jackal logo plugs in. All right. So it goes, you go, and I have the screen layer, which I use to combine the mask. That way, That way, those white areas, when they combine using the screen, both white areas remain. And then, of course, multiply would, well, I think multiply would cancel them out because where one is white, the other one is black. I'm super curious to try it out now. I'm pretty sure they'll just cancel each other out. That's kind of my bet. But just to be sure. Like, just because I'm feeling curious. But anyways. Yeah, it's just black. The reason why I can still see the logo, like the color, is because so these feed into here via a completely separate channel. So I can control what the emissives do, and I can control what these colors do separately. So let's just let live, right? See? So once again, just having everything be so segmented, it lets you just edit specific parts as much as you want without affecting the rest. Once again, that's like really kind of like the main power here. So let's get back to what we're doing. Let's delete this. We know that it doesn't work, or that it does what we thought it would. So these two feed into this, these two feed into this blend screen. So let's delete it for now because we don't need it. We can always get a new one. And so let's feed this directly into the multiply layer that connects to, let's call it the matrix E emissive. So we plug that into the multiply that plugs into that, which before used to have both of these textures plugging into it. Now it just has the flanks. So let's do a quick update. And I don't actually need this other window. And now, if we turn the jacket around, the jacket logo has nothing, but that sort of front side has has a texture we want. Has the emissive we wanted. And so now, what we're going to do is that we're going to create a new multiply layer. Multiply. We're going to plug in our old emissive for the jackal. And we're going to plug in the jackal mask. Click. And let's put this little. Actually, we can put this here. So now we can blend screen or we can add. We just need to plug this into this little pipeline here. So I'm just going to add. Bloop. Bloop. Let's put this here, and then let's take this, put this here, and then now, boop, it replaces the connection, and we should be good. Let's hit save. Okay. And now, look at that. It's back. Right? So you see, like, and once again, because it's modular, you can just edit whichever parts you want. So now that this is here, this armband I just don't like it. I just want it gone. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm actually just going to cut. Oopsie. I'm actually just going to cut this cord here, and then does it still compile if you have an open? I don't see why it wouldn't, but Unreal's been really finicky to me. Oh no, something went wrong. Hang on. Oh, we don't need. Okay, so what's happening is that if you trace this back, you trace it back to the mask that has wait, sorry. No, that is the right one. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So it does get a little bit. Um, what I recommend doing is actually just because I've built this myself, like I can tell you where things go. I'm just doing the whole like visually following thing as a demonstration tool. But anyway, so what's happening is that this is the alpha that has that armband as white so that things can see through it. Um, because I plugged it into the multiply and if nothing else, and then I have an add here, and now it's just a white emissive on the band. Um, so what I'm gonna do is, since I don't need this at all, I don't need it to be connected back, I'm just going to take this and just boop, bypass and cut it off. And hit save. Oh, it took a little longer. Okay, and there we go. Now that that emissive's gone, now we have. Let me actually take control of the light for a second. There we go. And yeah. So now we have oh, I don't like that, but that's because it's a low res image I got off the internet. Um, I actually do have a pack of just custom alphas that I'm making for this project. So let's see. So well, you saw this one earlier. Oh, actually, so there's a couple of others. Actually, this one is what's being used on here on the metallic to kind of just like give a little bit more interest to the non-emissive areas without being too over the top. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm actually going to make a binary code alpha in a little bit to use here because well, first of all, I just don't like using raw pictures of the internet. I like using them for concepts sometimes when I just need to go quickly. Like I just need to know that binary code looks cool here. I can go into making my own binary code later at any time. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like, it would take me a little bit and it would kind of break my flow to make binary code. I can get one to use temporarily off the internet. And, I mean, imagine if I discovered this was ugly and had spent like 3 minutes making binary code painstakingly, That would suck. So, let's see. What other edits do I want to show you guys? So there's actually one thing I want to show you guys before we move on to something else. So you noticed that earlier there was a ray coming down, a series of ray coming down. I would like to bring that back because I kind of feel like it just flows well with my logo to just have it go up and then down. So let's go in. Man, I'm actually gonna move this up here because I'm gonna need some space. Whenever possible, try to keep things organized. Um, you know, it's great if you just know things about your file because you made it. But especially like this, like if I were to hand this off to someone else, it might take a little bit to get it. But once again, this is the concept phase. A couple of these I think will probably be optimized, and if it gets too complicated, you can always simplify it. So, but anyways, enough blabbering. Let's duplicate. Let's duplicate it. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going. See. So I'm going to use a screen to combine them. Blend screen. Clip. And this feeds into this multiply. And let's use the panner and put it to minus 0.3. Hit save. Let me put on some music to kind of... Alright. Oh, actually, you can just preview here. Where is it? There we go. You know, it's not as compelling. There we go. So, now we see that, the pattern goes up, pattern goes down. Looks pretty cool. But it's too, what I want to use is predictable, but what I mean is that it's forgettable. Like it's sort of like, oh, you see it, you know what it's doing. Past the fact that you have a moving emissive on your jacket, I personally don't find it to be super compelling. So let's make it a little bit more interesting. So let's say that I want it to go faster, quote unquote, right? So your initial reflex would be maybe you take the panner. You take the panner, and you maybe increase its speed to, let's say, minus 0.7. All right, let's try it. Let's try that for a bit. All right. So there's a weird it's not actually syncing, it's out of sync, right? Like it's sort of just like sometimes they'll be in at the same time. It looks really chaotic, right? But I like the fact that the top one is moving faster than the bottom one, right? So here's a visual trick you can do. So let's put this back to minus 0.3. Okay. And let's go to the texture. Sorry, the mask to which we filter it. Go to the texture. Say 10. Let's tile it 10 times instead of 5. Sounds like a good number. Well, we're gonna find out soon enough. By the way, this is one of it was really nice things about working in something like Unreal or just like a live render. I'm sorry, real-time render, is that you get to preview things pretty quickly. So it does feel like it's moving a little bit faster, but I think it's too small. So let's go for 7. So a little thing about texture coordinate, all it does is that it just tiles your whatever texture you have X number of times, and the higher number, the more times it will tile, which means the more, did I save? Which means the smaller it will look in your actual final product. So yeah, I like this a lot better. I think 7 works a lot better. Yeah. Okay, so let me grab my tablet real quick and sort of explain what happened. So, in the hand tutorial, I sort of brought up how color is very complicated to the point where it's a separate, it's actually a career to study just color. Um, One of the things that makes color complicated is that color is relative. And the same applies to movement, or at least the perception of movement. So let's pretend that you have a stretch of 30 kilometers, right? So let's say like this stretch is 30 kilometers. If you imagine a fly moving 30 kilometers an hour across that stretch, that's pretty fast, right? Like that's that's decently fast, I would say. But if you imagine say a train that's like, let's say the train's a mile long, right? And you imagine that same train, or you just actually imagine these two lines, right? Imagine them covering the distance, both of them covering the distance from here to here in the same time, right? What's going to happen is that because this is so much bigger, right? Like actually, let's make it a bit more ridiculous, right? Because this is so much bigger, um, this will look like it's moving faster. If you were to just kind of like just look at them separately, side by side like this, you'd probably, so actually this is probably a better way of showing it. Um, so the smaller object moving the same distance and the same amount of time, as in the same speed, um, will appear to move faster. And so that's why, even though, the top emissive is not moving faster, it looks like it's moving faster because the bits are smaller. You know, so by tiling it 7 by 7 instead of 5 by 5, you shrink all of those little, all of these little hexagons. You shrink them, and you shrink them by enough that when you see it, you know, travel that distance, looks like it's going faster. But if you really pay attention, it's not actually going faster. So, earlier I said that the thing about this method is that it's super modular, and you can sort of just edit little parts like that. Well, also part of the power of it is that it's a bunch of little parts. They're fairly simple. Like that texture is fairly simple. It's visually complicated, but it's one texture. You know, the logos, the writing, like some of the patchwork. It's very simple. The UVs for the jacket are very simple. It's a bunch of fairly simple parts that you can edit to a very great extent. You can combine and mismatch them. And what would be a good metaphor for this, I guess? I don't know. I guess it's sort of just like it's kind of like kit bashing a little bit. Um, I mean, the closest comparison I would have is actually chemistry. But I suspect a lot of people aren't super familiar with chemistry. But the basic idea with chemistry is that you have all these little components that can have a lot of variations. So there's a lot of kinds of carbon. There's a lot of kinds of oxygen, hydrogen, and all that stuff. There's just like minute variations. But depending on which ones you combine together and how you combine them, what order, you can get some pretty different results. Like I think in Full Metal Alchemist, like there's this one fight, and I'm totally gonna botch all the characters. Actually, I'm not gonna use character names. So the main character is fighting this guy who uses carbon to reinforce his body. And at one point, the main character defeats him by just rearranging the position of the carbon within the guy's body, making it go from extremely damage resistant to super weak. Um, in that he didn't change anything about the carbon except the formation, right? So, think about things like that. Like that's kind of how you want to think about a working process like this, where it's like, you can get a lot of different results by just changing little tiny things. Um, and, you just kind of want to think about how things interact. Understand that you have an emissive that is moving through a pattern that is also moving through a mask. Actually, I was thinking of removing the I was thinking of removing the hexagon pattern that's through here because it like was showing, but that's just this text. You know what? Let me put a different texture on there. That low resolution is starting to get to me. Like it looks fine at a distance, but the second I get closer, I'm just like, ugh, start to kind of shiver in my boots a little bit. Um, let's you know what? Let's just see what happens if we tile it. Maybe it looks better if we tile it. It's low resolution, so if you tile it more, it should look okay. Though I kind of like the big numbers. I'll be frank with you. Kind of like the big numbers. Yeah, no. Nope. It was worth a try, but I just need to make a higher resolution one. Which I'll do in my own time. I'm not gonna do that during the tutorial. Actually, I want to move on to the second part of the tutorial, which is how do you want to organize your UVs and actually make these masks, and how to use the alphas to kind of get these. So I'll see you in part 2, guys. Thanks for watching.